All right. So let's go ahead and look at a word problem. And the good news is that you guys actually know pretty much how to do this already. We did it for expressions. The only difference is now you're given a total to set it equal to, okay? And I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's go ahead and write this word problem down, and then we'll break it apart, and I'll show you how to set it all up. Okay, so Tahara has read 110 pages of a 290-page book. She reads 20 pages each day. How many days will it take to finish? Okay, now if you remember back to when we were doing our expressions, we were writing algebraic expressions for word problems. We were looking for certain things. We were looking for the rate. We were also looking for the initial value, or what you start with. And what we're going to be adding to this today is the total. The total. Okay. So let's start with what we already know, what we did with our expressions. Okay, so let's identify the initial value and the rate. Well, it says that she has already read 110 pages. So that's what we're starting with. She has already read 110. That's our initial value right there. And then our rate. In this case, it says that she reads 20 pages each day. So this is our rate. Okay, and now if you remember back to when we wrote the equations for this, we had our rate times our variable. In this case, we're going to define the variables, or define the variable. Okay, this is important when you're writing equations from word problems, is we need to know what each variable means. So in this case, it says per day, how many days will it take to finish? So days is what we don't know. So we're gonna let D, we're gonna let D be the number of days. Okay, so when you're defining your variable, you just pick the variable that you want to represent your unknown. Okay, so now that we have our variable, okay, we're gonna multiply the rate times the number of days. And we always either are adding or subtracting whatever our initial value was. In this case, our initial value was 110. So we'll be plugging that in there. Do you guys remember this? Hopefully, you're not too rusty. Okay, so we're gonna multiply our rate times the number of days plus what she's already read, your initial value, okay? I'm really hoping you guys are already good on that part because we have done it, we did it in the last unit. Now what we're going to be doing though is we're going to be adding on a total because they've told us how many pages are in this book. There's an ending point. There's a total. It's right here. 290. And so our total is going to be 290. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it equal to the total, which is 290. Okay. So it's always going to be in the same format. You'll have your rate times your variable, or actually sometimes they give you this and they don't give you the rate, but I'll show you what that looks like too. We're going to do a problem like that in just a second. You have your initial plus your initial value equals sum total. Okay, you're going to be looking at a variety of different word problems, but it's always going to be formatted pretty much the same way. Okay. Now, when you're doing your homework, I need 3 things from you, or on a quiz, on a test, whatever it is. I want you to define the variable. I want you to write an algebraic equation. Okay, so in this case, that's what we did right here. This is your algebraic equation. You have 20d plus 110 equals 290. Okay, I know that you guys are perfectly capable of solving this problem without ever writing an algebraic equation, but I need to see it because that's what we're working on, and it's a very important skill for you guys to have for the future, okay? And then you need to solve it. Tell me how many days it's going to take her to finish her book. So let's go ahead and do that work underneath here. So we have the algebraic equation, and so we just solve it like we normally would any other equation. So this is going to be 20 times d plus 110 equals 290. I'm going to subtract 110 from both sides. So we have 20d is equal to 180. Divide both sides by 20. And we get that d is equal to 9. So the solution to this, how many days will it take to finish? It will take 9 days to finish. All right? I know that's a lot of writing, but I'm hoping that you know, the logic is there behind what's going on, okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you, well, actually, first of all, sometimes, I told you that sometimes they give you the rate and not the number of times something is occurring. So I'm going to just do like a blank overview. So when you're filling this in, you have these things happening. You have 2 things multiplied together, plus or minus something is equal to something. It's always going to be in this form. This right here is always your total. This right here is always your initial value, or what you start with. Okay, this right here is your rate. And this right here is the number of times the rate happens. Okay. So in the case of the problem above, instead of telling you that she reads 20 pages per day, they could have said it's going to take 9 days to finish that book. How many pages did she read per day? And in that case, you would have put 9 here, and your variable would have been the rate, pages, P, okay? So let's take a look at a problem that's like that. Let me get a new piece of paper here. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to give you the problem, and then you can fill it in and try it out. Okay, so you should know before you do this problem that I'm using a problem from a textbook that was written like over 20 years ago. So waitresses did not make as much as they do now. So just keep that in mind. So a waitress earns $73 for 6 hours of work. The total included $46 in tips. Okay. So to help you write your equation, you're going to be looking for the rate, the initial value, or like the one-time amount, and your total. Once you have those, you can write your algebraic equation. And then what I want from you is I want you to define your variable. I want you to write the algebraic equation. And I also want you to solve it. I want the solution. Okay. So go ahead and take a couple minutes and see if you can use the notes on the other side to help you. See if you can write an algebraic equation for this and solve it. this problem, they don't give you the rate, they give you like the number of times. Okay, I do want you to give you like the last 5 minutes to work on like homework and stuff, just so you can start your assignment. So let's go ahead and talk through this. Let's see, what's the initial value? 46, good. What's the total? 73. And in this case, they didn't give you the rate. That's what we're going to be finding. But how many times is that rate going to occur?
6 times.
6, yes. Because the rate would be how much she makes per hour. She's working for 6 hours. That's how many times, okay? And so then you end up with this equation that looks like this. What did you guys put for your variable? R for the rate, hourly rate. So you may choose something different. That's totally fine. As long as you define it, it doesn't matter. Okay, so let R be the hourly rate. Okay, so you have 6 times R plus the initial value, which is 46, is equal to 53. So this is your algebraic equation. When I ask for an algebraic equation, it has to have a variable in it. If it doesn't have a variable in it, it's a numerical equation, which is not what I was looking for. Okay? And when you guys solved it, what'd you get?
4.5.
So $4.50 per hour. So we can say she makes $4.50 per hour. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and file your notes. I'll show you the table of contents. And you can spend the last 5 minutes just working on your homework. Just a reminder, I'm starting to check it tomorrow, so make sure you're ready.